Argentina won the World Cup last year, and 10 months later, Correo Argentino issued several stamps to celebrate the moment. In this episode, let's discuss the stamps and review the World Cup-themed stamps issued by Argentina. I like football or soccer, depending on which country you are from, so I collect football-themed stamps. And I'm a big fan of Messi, but it's not easy to find stamps featuring Messi, since many countries are still very cautious about depicting living people on their postage stamps. I have these stamps from Burundi, but they are agency-issued stamps that probably have never been used for postal services. But after Qatar World Cup last year, I was convinced that Argentina would issue stamps featuring Argentine players, including Messi. This is because there were Argentine stamps featuring players like Mario Kempes and Diego Maradona after the 1978 and 1986 World Cup. Finally, on 18th October 2023, 10 months after the final match, Correo Argentino issued 3 stamps, a miniature sheet, and a booklet with the theme of 2022 World Cup. There are 7 stamps in this set. Personally, I love this set of stamps. And before we look into the detail of the stamps, let me dress up appropriately. The information on these stamps is in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, so sorry about my pronunciation. First, let's look into the 900 pesos round stamp. It features the trophy, the words Argentina Campeón, which means Argentina champion. Additionally, there is a badge of the Argentina Football Association, and 78, 86, and 22 represent the years they won the World Cup. These elements of the badge and the years are featured on all 7 stamps. The next 900 pesos stamps features 3 players, Otamendi, Messi, and Di Maria. The words in the background are Gritalo Argentina Campeón, which means shout it out, Argentina champion. The 380 pesos stamps is the least denominated stamps in this set. It features Messi with the trophy, the pole, and Arvalets. The words in the background are Argentina Campeón. The most denominated and the largest stamps in sets is the miniature sheet, which features the whole Argentina team during the ceremony. The booklet themed Camino de los Campeones, which means the path of the champions, contains 3 stamps and a label. The 3 stamps featured group stage, the 3 knockout games before the final, and the final game. All the technical information is detailed in the selvage. It's worth mentioning the label. It perfectly captures the goal of Di Maria during the final. The phrase Golazo de Fidio translates to amazing goal by Fidio. Golazo is a term used in Spanish-speaking countries to describe an outstanding goal, and Fidio is a nickname often associated with Di Maria, which means noodle in English. It was an amazing goal, but I think it's just a goal, so it's not worth turning it into a postage stamps. Besides, Di Maria has already been featured on several stamps. Regarding the stamps, what I found lacking is the proper representation of the goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez, who made significant contributions during the World Cup. Only half of his face is visible on the miniature sheet. I believe that's a shame. Apart from the design of the stamps, what caught my attention is the face values. Ranging from 380 pesos to 3,100 pesos. These are substantial amounts. However, it was not the case with Argentine stamps just over a decade ago. For example, I have the stamps of 2010 World Cup. The face values ranged from 1.5 to 7 pesos. On the date of the stamp's issuance, $1 equaled 350 pesos. However, going back to June 2010, when the 2010 World Cup stamps were released, $1 was equivalent to 3.91 pesos. In other words, over the period of 13 years, the Argentine peso depreciated nearly 90 times against the US dollar, and unfortunately, the situation is still worsening. In October 2023, the inflation rate in Argentina was 142.7%. Argentina is a country facing heavy inflation, which is reflected on its postage stamps. If we look back at the postal history of Argentina, we can understand the changes in Argentine currency and the impact of inflation on postage. The current currency of Argentina is Argentine peso, which has been used since the year 1992. It was known as the peso convertible before 2002, replacing the Austrian that was used between 1985 and 1991 at rate of 1 peso equivalent to 10,000 Australians. Austrian replaced the peso argentino in 1985 at rate of 1 Austral to 1,000 pesos. In 1983, peso argentino replaced the previous currency at rate of 1 peso argentino equal to 10,000 pesos lei. Peso lei, in turn, replaced peso moneda nacional, the longest used currency in 1970 at rates of 1 to 100. In summary, from 1970, Argentina changed its currency 4 times due to inflation. 1 peso used today is equivalent to 10 trillion pesos used before 1970. Move back to stamps. The first time that Argentina issued World Cup themed stamps was for the 1978 tournament, the first and only time that Argentina hosted a World Cup. Let's start to review the stamps from that period, and we will also pay attention to the face values as well as the performances of Argentina team. In May 1977, 2 stamps were issued with the theme of the logo of the 1978 World Cup, with the official currency being the peso lei at that time. In early 1978, Correo Argentino issued a stamp for the 77 philatelic exhibition. It featured the Church of San Francisco and also promoted the World Cup. It's a semi-postal with 160 pesos for postage and 80 pesos for donation. Then, there is another stamp features the logo, and 5 stamps featured 5 host cities of 1978 World Cup. 5 more stamps were issued during the tournament. 4 of them showed the 16 participating teams with simple drawing. The minter sheet features Estadio Monumental, the stadium that hosted the final. Argentina eventually won the World Cup by beating Netherlands in extra time. After winning the World Cup, Correo Argentino issued another stamp with the same design of the stadium one, but with the overprint of Argentina Campeón, or Argentina Champion. It was similar to what the UK Post Office did after the '66 World Cup, but in Argentina, they changed the face value from 700 pesos to 1,000 pesos. I bought this sheet from an antique shop several years ago. I'm not sure if I should keep the stamps on the sheet or try to remove them. Please let me know what's the best way to remove stamps from hinges. Let's move to 1981, when stamps were issued for the International Philatelic Exhibition of America, or ESPAMER. The stamps feature some moments during the '78 World Cup, and one of the labels shows the logos of '78 and '82 World Cups, as well as the logo of FIFA. We can see that the highest denomination stamp is 15,000 pesos. And in 1982 tournament in Spain, Argentina was eliminated during the second round. 1986 Mexico World Cup. It was the tournament of Diego Maradona. In November 1986, Correo Argentino issued those stamp sheets to celebrate their second World Cup champion. The stamps featured the team squad, 2 classic games including the final against West Germany and probably the most famous and most controversial game in the World Cup history, Argentina against England. And of course, there are 4 stamps featuring Maradona with the trophy. The then currency was Argentine Austrian. The denominations of the 16 stamps are all 75 cents. In 1990, a block of stamps with the similar design of the 1986 ones were issued. In philately, we call them setano, which means stamps or labels are printed from the same plate and sheet, and are drawing one another. Here we have 4 stamps forming one picture. the face values of the stamps are all 2,500 Australians. Do you remember the face values of the 1986 ones? Only 75 cents. That was just 4 years ago. The stamps feature an Argentine player and an Italian player, which somehow predicted the tournament. Argentina beat the host Italy in the semi-final, but they lost to West Germany in the final. 1994 USA World Cup. There were 4 stamps featuring the World Cup winners since 1970, so no Uruguay and England, and 1 more high-value stamp featuring the Argentina team. It was 2 years after the new Argentine peso was adopted. The denominations of the stamps ranged from 25 cents to 1.5 pesos. In that tournament, Argentina was knocked out by Romania during the round of 16. Afterwards, 4 more stamps were issued with the theme of children's paintings of 94 World Cup. 1998 France World Cup. 4 stamps featured the team of Group H: Argentina, Croatia, Jamaica, and Japan. The 3 teams other than Argentina made their World Cup debut. Argentina won all the group stage matches, beat England at round of 16 but knocked out by the Netherlands. Before 2002 World Cup, Correo Argentino issued a pair of stamps themed World Cup winners of the 20th century, so this time it included England and Uruguay as well as France, the winner of the 1998 World Cup. The tournament wasn't good memory for the Argentina team as they were eliminated in the group stage. After the World Cup, 2 more football-themed stamps were issued for Villa Korea, the international stamp exhibition in South Korea. From the denominations, we can see that the Argentine peso was quite stable during its first 10 years, because the exchange rate was fixed at 1 peso to $1 until early 2002. 2006 Germany, the first World Cup of Messi. 1 miniature sheet themed Vamos Argentina, and 1 stamp featured a ball hitting the net, and 4 stamps featured the teams in Group C: Argentina, Serbia and Montenegro, Netherlands and Ivory Coast. The denominations ranged from 1 to 4 pesos, and in that World Cup, Argentina was knocked out by the host Germany at quarterfinal. 2010 South Africa World Cup. I showed these stamps earlier. As usual, they issued stamps for the teams in Argentina's group. This time, we have South Korea, Greece, and Nigeria. There are 4 miniature sheets featuring some technical moves in football, and in this tournament, Argentina was once again knocked out by Germany during the quarterfinal. 2014 Brazil. Correo Argentino again issued stamps for the teams in Argentina's group. The 3 other teams were Bosnia and Herzegovina, Iran, and Nigeria. You can find the teams' fixtures on their shirts. The denominations are 10 pesos, so we can see the signs of hyperinflation. In the Brazil World Cup, Argentina was once again beaten by Germany, but this time during the final match. After 2014, Argentina stopped issuing World Cup themed stamps for some reasons. No stamps were issued for 2018 World Cup. Argentina was beaten by France during the round of 16, and then the 2022 Qatar World Cup. No stamps were issued before the tournament, but Argentina won the World Cup, and Correo Argentino had some job to do, so they issued stamps 10 months later. We looked back at the World Cup themed stamps issued by Correo Argentino. We can find that the least denominated stamp is 30 in peso lei, while the most denominated one is 3,100 in Argentine peso. The difference between them is more than 1 quadrillion, and it's just 46 years apart. You may have noticed that the incoming Argentine president Javier Milei plans to abolish the Argentine peso and adopt the US dollar as the country's official currency. This move may stabilize the economy, but it also means that Argentina will lose economical autonomy. It's definitely not a new idea. Back in the year 2000, Ecuador, another country in South America, abolished their own currency and adopted the US dollar, and in a short period, Ecuador issues stamps both in US dollars and Ecuadorian sucres. Through postage stamps, you can not only learn a country's postal history, a theme you may love like football, and also gain some insights to a country's economy. That's just great. It was challenging for me to learn the history and stamps of Argentina as I don't know Spanish, which limits the information I can access. So if you find something wrong or hope to add some information, don't hesitate to leave a comment. I will keep watching football and collecting stamps. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and follow me on social media if you haven't. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.